Hey, I'm David Kelso, your neighborly podcast nerd with the Appleton Podcast Co-op, and welcome to the Podcast Fast Class. I've got a new chair. I broke 2 chairs, so I bought a new chair. It's much more expensive, but it's much more worth it. The last lesson, lesson 9, we talked about marketing and monetization. In this lesson, lesson 10, it's our final one. We're like halfway through the season, halfway through the Podcast Fast Class. It's almost over. Oh my gosh. I'm still going to be doing these videos just with like encouragement and other ideas that may be popping into my head as we go through the last half of this season. Lesson 10, we're talking about engaging with the listeners, what I'm doing right here. We don't create podcasts in a vacuum to be listened to. We create them with the goal of people actually listening and like having a conversation with us, joining in. Not only can having fans help grow your show and just that word of mouth that everyone loves, it also makes it more fun to actually do what we do when we get to have conversations with people. I know that when I was in college radio, I know, exciting. It was the coolest thing in the world to actually have someone call in and have a conversation about the nerd topic that we were talking about for that week. And now, sort of things have changed. We're in the media realm of the internet now. So with that, there's so much more ways that you can engage with people depending on how you like to engage, but there should be some form of interaction to sort of bolster that marketing plan. Now, the number one that you'll probably think of is social media. And that it is a great way, sort of putting it out there, asking questions that maybe you asked on the show, just to sort of get people to actually listen to the show, to poll people to see what they're interested in a way that you can actually keep track of. And I mean, people are already there. And so why not go to where people are? You don't necessarily need to create a page for your show. You could just use it on your own Facebook page or your own Facebook group or whatever, or just your own personal page if you don't mind being a public figure. But especially Twitter is probably a little bit easier to do that than Facebook if you want to keep Facebook for friends and family. Totally understand. That's what I do. I tend to keep Twitter for anyone can follow me, but Facebook's a friendly thing. Anyways. Moving on, next thing is an email list. This one's a little bit more easier to know that it actually is read. There's a much higher chance that people are going to open an email than see a Facebook post because you know that you like actually sent the email to them. So whenever an episode releases or you have a new blog post or something, email is a great method. I've used MailerLite in the past. Unlike MailChimp, MailerLite allows you to schedule for free. So it's a really great one to get started if you have a small group, and then you actually know like how many people like are your diehard fans. That's kind of what you want to get towards. In that same realm, you could make a community, whether that's a Facebook group like we have here, or a Discord or a Slack, some kind of online community where people can engage, have an open discussion, but it's like just your people. They're going to talk about the stuff that happens on your show. So next, harkening back to that radio days, having a voicemail line. You can use a Google Voice, which I've set up in the past, and I found that one to be the easiest. People like know already how to just make a call in, versus VoiceLink, which is just a web page that people can call in and record a 1-minute thing. Otherwise, you can try and instruct people to teach them how to use a voice memo on their iPhone or Android phone. But the amount of laziness that people exude when it comes to actually interacting with your show is so high. Just make it as easy as possible for them to be able to engage with you. That's what engaging with people is. And be consistent with talking to people, whether that's setting aside an hour a week to engage with people. You don't necessarily need to be talking every waking moment of the day. Maybe just 10-15 minutes a day versus constantly having your notifications on. Just from a mental aspect, hot tip for you. So what are some ways that you are going to engage with people, with your listeners? Share with us, and you can comment down below and make sure that we're all sort of get some new ideas, hopefully, from this video. Don't forget, both old and new members can win some free gear by the end of the season. If you start a show or continue your show, you need at least 3 podcast episodes, new ones, to be entered in. I believe it's December 7th is when the final one pops off. But this week's, thank you so much for joining us for this week's lesson. If you want to listen to our interview with Trevor and Sam, the review dudes is what I'm calling them. They had a great conversation, made me laugh a lot. Loved their take on a comedic podcast with this review in review. You can listen to that in the APC Presents feed right now. But go comment, go engage. Let's have a conversation about how we engage. So thanks so much for watching this. Have a great day.